Good morning, everyone. We're down here at our garden center in Galesburg, Michigan, and we're going to do some gilding with some trees and some native plants. I'm here with Justin. We're going to show you a little bit about what we're going to do on this beautiful day. So let's get started.
Hey guys, it's Justin here for Great Lakes Bee Supply. We're going to show you how to properly plant a fruit tree. There's not a whole lot of information out there, and if you scour the internet you'll find a bunch of people saying different things. This is one of the best ways that I've found that works for planting your fruit tree. We have here a cherry tree. If you're going to plant sweet cherries you're going to need at least two. Same goes for apples, pears, sour cherry and peaches, plums. You only need one, but it's always best to have two. You'll have better fruit production because they'll cross-pollinate and everything will be great. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we're going to put our tree, and then we're going to dig a hole, and it's got to be 5 times the base of your root ball. So this root ball's not overly big, so we're going to start probably way out here, and we're going to go all the way around and dig up all this grass, because the grass is very, very bad for fruit trees. You'll notice at orchards, they spray the ground all the way around it to make sure there's no grass competing for water. They're very finicky when it comes to that. So we're gonna get rid of all this grass, plant a big hole, and show you exactly what's best. So we're gonna start out here. We're gonna start digging a square hole. The reason we want a square hole is because this root ball, all those roots are growing in a circle in there. And we don't want that, because if they're growing in a circle, they'll continue to grow in a circle, and we want those roots to go out into the soil, give yourself a big, nice base so you don't have to stake your trees as much. They're less likely to tip over. So we're going to start right now with digging a big square hole, and all you have to do is start digging. And this is going to take a minute. Alright, we're back. We've got a nice big square hole. We took a bunch of dirt out. It's a lot of work, but it's gonna benefit you an awful lot to do it this way, the right way, the first time. The reason we got it square is because, as you can see, this is in a round bucket. Nurseries plant their trees in buckets and try to force them to grow as much as possible, and the roots have nowhere to go. So they just keep going in circles in here, and it's no good for the tree. If you leave it like that, eventually it's gonna really hurt your tree. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this out. We're gonna show you how the roots are starting to go in circles. Try to knock off as much dirt as possible, because we want those, when we lay that tree in there, we want the roots to lay out to go other directions. So we get a nice spread and the tree's nice and stable and it's able to collect a lot of nutrients. So first thing we're gonna do is remove this. And as you can see, that's not the most natural way for tree roots to grow. You can see them kind of like this one's growing up and then back down. These are growing around. So we don't want that. We want to try to fix that. So it's not an easy way to do it, but if you just pound the bottom, try to shake as much of that off as possible, you'll see they start coming loose. This one's been in there for a while, so it's not going to be the easiest. But you can see the roots are starting to fall, starting to get down. We just keep rubbing and hitting, and it starts to break apart. And this also helps because trees, when they're in a soil, their roots like to stay in that soil. So if we were to plant this tree in totally different soil, once those roots come out to the edge, they're going to see that, feel it, and they're going to just stay in their circle because they like this dirt. This is their dirt. We're going to trick them. So now you start seeing they're coming apart. Some break, that's okay. You know, it's hard on a tree to be planted, period, but they're starting to come out. Getting nice and heavy on my arms. All right, we probably have a pretty good amount removed. We can start spreading them out. We're going to set it right in the center of our hole. Now, this is where it's important. You have a rootstock right here. This is of a totally different tree. It's going to control your hardiness, cold hardiness. It's going to control your disease resistance, and most importantly, the size of your tree. So, you'd never want to go bury past this, because if you get up here, this is going to grow roots, and you're going to get a totally different tree. So, this one being a rainier cherry, if we were to plant it all the way up here, you're going to end up with something totally different than a rainier tree. So, we want to try to get it right about the level of the soil, right there. Plant some, get it stable. Maybe throw some compost or manure or whatever you got to help feed that tree. And then you're just going to start backfilling. And again, it's a big hole, but it's going to be better because now that you got these roots from going in a circle, once they come out here, if they're still going in a circle, they're going to hit this edge right here, and they're going to be forced to go in there. They can't come back. They're going right into a wall. So that helps get the roots out, get your tree stabilized and ready to go. So again, just backfill it. Try to stay right at the level. Don't ever go above the graft because you'll get a totally different tree. And make sure you water after you filled it all in. So. Okay, we've got our tree completely planted, all filled back in. I just wanted to go back and touch a little bit on the graft joint and why we don't go above it, what it is, what purpose it serves. The reason they graft trees, and you can see this is where this tree started, it would have kept going this way. What they did is they cut it off, took a branch of the rainier, and they spliced it, tied it together, and it adhered to itself, and now everything that grows above this point is going to be your rainier cherry. The reason they do that is because cherry trees, much like apple trees, if you went to a store and got yourself a Granny Smith apple, and you ate it down and you picked the seeds out and you said, you know, I really like Granny Smith apples, I'd like to plant one. If you took that seed and planted it in your garden or in your yard, that seed is not going to be a Granny Smith because it's going to have been cross-pollinated from other apples. It's going to have probably genetic mutations maybe. So the only way to ensure you get that Granny Smith is to actually take a branch from a Granny Smith tree, cut it, splice it to a rootstock, and grow it that way. It's the only way to ensure it. The reason they do this is because A, it ensures that you're going to get that tree. 2, this controls everything above the tree. So this root stock here is going to control the height of the tree, because if you planted an apple seed, you're going to get like a 30-foot tree. It's going to take like 10 years to produce a single apple. This way it will force it to grow shorter, produce quicker, some as early as 3 to 5 years. It also controls the disease of the tree, so this rootstock might be better at resisting fire blight or apple scab, or this one wouldn't because it's cherry, but it also controls the cold hardiness. So an apple tree that normally wouldn't grow here in Zone 5 will be able to, because they've grafted it to a rootstock that does very well when the ground gets cold and frozen. The best way to do all of this and ensure that you get exactly the apple tree you want is to know what type of rootstock it is, so you know how big it's going to be if it does well in your zone, and cut it together, put it together, and watch it grow. That's all there is to it. This has been a pretty easy way of planting a tree. It only took a few minutes. We did it right. It's going to grow well, and we'll hopefully see cherries soon. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our next episode.